to 5 things. Look, I have a wall behind me. I've done every online show with my bed behind me, but this time, I'm living up on a wall. A navy blue wall with some chunky paint. I've moved. Welcome to 5. Huge week. I'm going to give you an update in 5 things. But first I want to say hi and welcome to Bad Dog TV. What an amazing place. A magical place where live comedy still happens. Also, this show is also a podcast. Whoa! On the Sonar. Yep. That's reminded me to say something soon. On the Sonar network. And if you're watching right now, I'm going to need you to, hey, how about donate to Bad Dog Theater? Go to baddogtheater.com/5things and support live comedy still happening on the interwebs. Also, another thing you could do that would just like really make me happy is smash that like button. It's here. Smash it. Smash that like button. That sound is, it's leveling up with the horn. I don't know which is my favorite anymore. Ooh, it's a contest. Anyways, yeah, welcome to 5 Things, the show where I get to interview amazing people from our community, from the comedy world, and ask them 5 things in the spirit of our improv game warm-up 5 things. I'm going to start with myself right now. Also, I've got to say, hi, Connor. I just never say hi to Connor. Hi, Connor. Beep, beep, beep. Connor on the horns. Can you imagine Connor just had... I'm picturing Connor with trumpets, just a whole horn section back there, but that's how good... Connor with a sad trumpet. Yeah. No, Connor's just teching the I was going to swear, but I don't think 7 o'clock's the time. Connor was just, he's teching Bad Dog. He does so much teching on Bad Dog TV. And Bad Dog TV would not be, Bad Dog Theater would not be what it is without Connor Lowe. So can I get a air horn from all your mouths at home and the air horn sound for Connor Lowe in the booth? That's what that sounded like to me, and I liked it. Okay, hey everyone, I've had a really cool and exciting week, and I want to tell you about it in 5 things. So, thing 1 for my week is I moved. Holy smokes, I moved 1 floor down, and you think that sounds easy, right? That's super easy. Like 1 floor down, I had help of amazing friends. It was the hottest weekend of the year so far. So not only did I move, but I had a little bit of a workout. I sweat a lot, but it's worth it because my apartment's beautiful. Next, I nested. I decorated. I haven't really decorated a place because I'm living. This is huge. Since 2015, I've been in Toronto. I keep saying Calgary. That's where I moved from. And I've never lived above ground by myself. And I'm finally living above ground by myself. Huge. Thank you. Applause, applause, applause. She's an adult. A 38-year-old adult. Finally made it. So I'm living above ground. So thing 2 is that I nested so hard. I decorated. This place is very decorated. Decorated to the 9s, to the 10s. The third thing is, as I was decorating and like checking out my style and watching TikToks, I realized that I'm what the Gen Zers are calling chuggy. I'm chuggy. Connor, if you want to Google that, that means I'm someone who is not very trendy. But apparently it's someone who used to be trendy. Never have been trendy. Never will be trendy, probably. I had a live, laugh, love sign. Not now, but at one point in like my life, I had live, laugh, love. I gotta get this book about Gen Z slang that Connor pulled up because I'm falling behind. I'm fogging up. My glasses are fogging up because I am falling behind. Okay, number 4 is I discovered something sad, that my cat, who might come into the show at any time, loves my roommate more than he loves me because he has been all kinds of depressed. And then I was like, oh, maybe he's just not used to the new apartment, whatever. And then my roommate comes yesterday to visit me in my new apartment. She hasn't been around for a while, and he comes alive. He is like, I love her. I'm going to show her by sticking my butt in her face. And I was like, this brought up a lot of jealousy issues that I'm going to need to talk about in therapy. Yeah. Cat therapist. I need a cat therapist. My cat needs a therapist. I need my therapist. There's a lot, because we're a bit of a broken home right now. But I think things are going to be great. And thing 5 is, honestly, this is improvised, so I'm going to make it up. Oh, I'm working not in my bedroom anymore. And that's not made up. That's a fact. I used to do everything in my bedroom. Everything. Except for, like, I wasn't sleeping much. But I was doing shows. I was working. I was watching TV. I was cuddling my cat. I lived in my bedroom. And now I have a whole 500 square feet, baby. It's 500 square feet. Well, that's 5 things from my week. I had a nice week. I hope you did have a nice week. Maybe DM us with the 5 things that happened in your week. I'd love to read them. DM Bad Dog TV. I'm not even in charge of that account, but I'll read it. I took out my glasses because I'm very hyped up for our guest for this show. I was saying to Connor and our guest in our green room before the show that this show is so amazing because I get to ask 5 questions of people who I should really actually know. This person I really should know more about because they are the production manager of the show. And then I did some Google research in the last couple of days, and they are actually super famous. They are a professionally trained, award-winning musical director, actor, theater creator, and they are amongst us all the time, producing and doing amazing work here with Bad Dog Theater and Bad Dog TV. I met them at Bad Dog Theater when we would talk fashion because we shopped at the same place. I'm so excited because every time we chat, I just feel like a warm feeling wash over me. I'm so excited to introduce my guest for 5 things. Theater's own Avery Jean Brennan. Hi, welcome. I'm so excited to chat with you because I was like, everything I Googled, I was like, whoa, what? We need to learn how to brag more. Okay, we need to learn. You should just come up to people and be like, I'm an award-winning.
In my defense,
yes,
I do that quite a lot.
You know what? I think you recently told me in a like a chat, we were talking about a musical you written because you wrote a song about being happy alone that I loved, and you mentioned it to me, and then I was like, cool, that's awesome. How long? That's like a year after knowing you.
Yeah, I think we would have met because I started working at Bad Dog like February of 2019.
Oh, so like 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. Oh, dang. Okay, we need to do some efficient bragging here. So maybe this is an opportunity.
Listen, I don't want to go around. I don't want to say that I'm an award-winning person because other people already do that for me.
That's
true. Specifically, people who give out awards.
Oh, wow. That seemed like somebody who walked in with a fur coat and sunglasses would take off their glasses and say, and I respect that.
Thank you.
I had a whole image in my head of you doing it, and it was fire. Fire.
I mean, I may be a Cancer, but I do have 3 Leo placements in my chart.
Okay. I needed to know that because I'm like, I see the feelings, but I feel fire, and it's the Leo placements. Okay.
Yeah. Rising, Mercury, and Venus.
Whoa. Oh no. Avery G.
By the Sonar Network. Am I also Chugi? Is that what we were about?
Yeah, it's Chugi. It's what the Gen Zers are saying.
I used to shop at the same place, and the answer is yes, and proudly. Oh, okay.
Really? I think you're very trendy and cool. Like, I think you're very trendy. I
start trends though. Or like
I was gonna say, or you're like way more confident than me, and I'm like, live, laugh, love. Like, I'm like, I didn't tell the biggest reason why I'm Chugi. I'm struggling to open my shirt sleeve to show you my pointless Eiffel tattoo. I don't know how to. I'm trying to aim. I'm trying to aim my arm at the camera. There it is. This pointless Eiffel Tower tattoo that I actually got the first time I ever visited Toronto. I didn't get the CN Tower.
You get it in Paris?
No,
I'm very glad you didn't get it in Paris.
I would probably go out and beat up in Paris because they already didn't like me because I went parlez-vous anglais, s'il vous plaît, and they're like, no. But I had a nice time in Paris, hence the chuggy tattoo. Okay, great. This is enough about me and my chugginess. This is about Avery Jean and their fabulousness because I need to know more. I Googled and I was like, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I need to know the deets. So thing one, it's a huge thing. It should take us about half an hour to 45 minutes. Can you please tell me about your theater work and how you got into theater and how you came upon winning all these awards and getting all these accolades? Yeah, tell me about your journey in theater because
I'm first of all, that's three questions. Oh,
I know, I'm sneaking in.
As your producer.
I know, No. Connor, Avery Jean.
Hold on.
Tell Coko about
Coko?
how many questions. Coko, I'm doing the standard
Andrea's
5.
breaking improv rules. No.
That's what rules are made for.
Exactly. You're a Virgo.
Yeah.
Anyway. What was the question? My theater journey, my life in theater?
I can make it one thing. Yeah. Tell me about your theater journey.
It's storied. My past is storied.
No.
I was born into a family, as many of us are. But specifically mine was my mother's side of the family. It's a very long line of artists and touring mediums. Like my mother's professional classical violist, as well as a novelist and nonfiction writer.
Wow.
And then her mother is also a painter who is 94 years old and still painting and still both teaching and taking painting classes.
Wow.
Like even through the pandemic over Zoom at her apartment.
That's amazing.
And her father was, he was the head of the philosophy department at U of T, but he was also a classical pianist and art lover and philanthropist and blah, blah, blah.
So art is in the blood.
Exactly. It was like very much instilled in our family. So I remember I was 3 or 4 years old. My mom sat me down to have like a very serious talk with me as a like actual child. And she said to me, it's like, you're either going to learn to play the piano or the violin, and you have to pick something. You can't pick nothing. But like, these are the two things that we already have. So we had a piano in the house, and we had my mom also taught violin and viola before she got much more involved in her writing. And I picked the piano. And so I started piano lessons when I was like 6 or 7. And then I started choir. And then I started taking some like acting classes and dance classes as the years went on because I had no friends. So I didn't have anything else to do. And then when I was 14, I was cast in my first professional musical at the Neptune Theater. It was in 2006's production of Oliver, playing 2 different orphans.
Oh,
I know. Versatile.
Double duty orphans.
And then immediately after that, I spent 2 years touring a breakdance musical about bullying across the Atlantic provinces.
Oh,
called "Do the Right Thing."
My God,
where I played the bully.
What? You played
I played the bully. I made fun of like a kid who was like really into breakdancing, and I was like, "Ooh, ballet boy over here!" Like it was just like that in an hour-long musical, and then it all ended with us like we would like do like direct address monologues to the audience one at a time. That all ended with like, "This is how I'm going to act instead. I intend to be a friend," and then we'd like turn around and it would say like, "Be a friend" on our shirt. So like that's kind of like how like my start and my professional career were those 2 shows, and then like I was also like, I should also probably go to theater school so I can learn how to do this more intentionally. I both love and regret that. I will never say which theater schools I attended because they do not deserve my platform. Nor does any theater school, I think, in existence. And then through that, it was in my first year at the second program that I did, because I did 2 programs. And in my first year at the second program, I realized I was transgender. And I was like, but it was a musical theater school, and I knew like musical theater was like the thing that I wanted and needed to do. And at the time, like I think this was even before like Orange is the New Black came out. So like I hadn't seen any trans feminine people, like in media in general. And so I was like, all right, and then in musical theater, after studying music for so long and voice for so long too, specifically, and like getting really into the technique and into the music world, which is so unnecessarily gendered, and so strict in those senses too. I was like, okay, well, if I want to work in musical theater, I have to be a boy, even though the rest of this is like, that's not what's happening. So I realized I was trans. Yeah, and then I graduated from theater school and started working immediately. Very thankful for that, but like part of that was because I had the momentum from before I started theater school, both like acting in different shows across the country. Most of this was like I was living on the West Coast at that time, so I was working around Vancouver. I was working in Saskatchewan, in a few places in shows, and at the same time developing like musical direction. And I started writing, and I spent a year also. I did an artistic director internship at a company. Where I did a lot of teaching and I did a lot of directing of shows and writing of shows and just creating of like immersive experiences for very rich people who were really snooty and annoying. I directed an improv show. One of them too.
Oh,
really? It was a Commedia dell'arte show, so it was like improv with masked characters.
Yeah.
And it was for a place in Victoria, BC that wanted just like roaming performers in masked characters and like a little like performance and whatever. And I was like, cool. So I put that together, and I remember we were warming up and we were like in our sweatpants and whatever, and like in a space just doing that, just getting together. And these people who hired us just like have such like a disconnect from how the industry works. It's like they saw us in the room, not yet in costume, hair, and makeup. And one of the two organizers who I'd been working with the whole time like runs in and she was like, do you have costumes? Do you need costumes? And we were like, yeah, the show's in 2 hours. Like, what?
What a time to ask such an important question.
So funny. Yeah, so I was doing stuff like that before my transition. And then I started writing. I had been writing like a few plays, and I wrote a few musicals. My first solo show I ever wrote was I was 18 years old. It was me as a Liza Minnelli drag queen impersonator, and I called it Liza with a D. And then I just kind of like, I did more writing through school for projects, and then I started to get more serious about it. I had the idea to like, I wanted to explore something to do with the vaudeville circuit. Mm-hmm. And then as I started writing that, I think about a month after I wrote the first draft of that script was the Pulse nightclub shootings. And that really very deeply affected me. And I was still closeted as a trans person, but very out as a queer person. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget my dramaturge during that process. Like, we had our next session, and the entire session was instead of notes was like just talking about my feelings around that. And he was like, there is a safe way for you to process these feelings through this work. And I was like, oh, I hadn't really ever like considered that or like I never been vulnerable as a writer before. And so I started to do that. And then that show eventually became a musical called The Pansy Craze, which I did. I had a reading of it in Halifax as part of the Live-In Festival that Templeton Theatre throws every October. Or I think they used to. I don't know if they still do. And then I did a reading of it in Victoria as a concert after I started writing some music. And then when I moved to Toronto, I very, very, very luckily lucked into a Fringe slot for Toronto Fringe 2018. And
what year was that? I remember seeing. I don't know if I saw it. I know this is off topic, but was Dustin George? Dustin George was
the director of
involved. Yeah. So I'm Dustin was one of my new friends when I moved to Toronto, and I remember hearing about it, and then it got like that's the award, right?
That's one of them.
One of them. Okay. Hair flip. I
put my hair up specifically so I could resist flipping it. Thank you.
I'll flip for you.
Thank you.
Because mine's down and I'm flipping for you.
Also, for those of you listening on the podcast, my hair is up in an incredibly tall and large bun.
Very voluminous bun. Always good.
Like bright red and white, like beach headband also.
Yes. Also a wonderful cardigan.
I know. Actually, it's a shawl.
Oh, a shawl? Okay.
But yeah, so we did that in the Fringe. That won an award. It was the LGBTQ Fringe Award for I can't remember my own awards. I feel so sorry.
Wasn't it the first award of its kind? It was the first.
Yes, it was the very first. It was the very first, and it was about creating opportunities for queer people on stage that didn't already exist. Because like the main plot of this show essentially is a transgender woman who was trying to make it on the vaudeville circuit as the vaudeville circuit was dying. Also spoilers between this around the time. Through writing that show, though, I started writing that before I came out as trans, and it was through writing that the central character that I started to get to explore that part of myself like a little bit more in the musical theater world. Because like, I still haven't seen musical theater roles for trans people ever. Yeah. I've done other musicals since as an actor after coming out as trans, but even then, like I'm like, there's not a lot about most of the roles I played that needed to be trans.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. I also don't mind. That should also happen in casting.
Yeah.
But like there's nothing written like specifically for my voice. And so then I remember I came out as trans while I still lived in BC. And then like during the last few months there, like on my way out, I was like, by the way, I'm trans. Also, I don't like working with most of you. And then I moved to Toronto. And then just like as soon as I moved to Toronto, I kind of like had my new shot at life. And I came out more publicly. And made that kind of the forefront of my work. And through that, stepped away from acting in general because I was like, when I came out as trans, I had been working very consistently before that as an actor. And then everything went away. Like all the companies that used to hire me repeatedly either stopped hiring me or they just folded on their own. Also happened in a few spots. Yeah. And I love them very dearly, but RIP. And then I wasn't able to get auditions anymore either. So I transitioned. I was like, okay, like I love acting, but like obviously it's not going to happen for a while. I'm going to have to write some roles myself. So I started doing that with the Pansy Craze. I did some writing for Summer Works. I did a show called Gender Reveal Party that I did with Esper Bergman, which made a Critics' Pick Choice Award in Now Magazine.
Oh, that's 2 awards.
That's 2
if we can get to 5 awards.
Can we have an awards counter at the bottom of the screen? 5 awards.
5 awards. 5 awards. That's awesome. Yeah, keep going. I need to know it all. I need to know every detail. This is us becoming best friends. Okay.
And then I was musically directing a lot. I was doing vocal coaching, a lot of awards for Connor.
A lot of awards.
I was doing musical direction. I was teaching voice. I was doing a little bit of like acting teaching, and doing arts administration. I used to be the box office manager at Young People's Theater as well. And then I started doing I used to run a workshop series or facilitate a workshop on trans and non-binary inclusion in art spaces, which I still have. I'm just like, I'm taking a break from it because sometimes as a marginalized person, you just need to, and that's okay. And then I did a residency as a musical director apprentice at Neptune Theater through the Chrysalis Project. And I worked on 2 musicals there as an assistant musical director. And that was my first time being back in that theater where I started my career at 14. Since then, basically. And so I was like, it was really nice. It is like, I got to know like what that place had become and who was working there at the time. And really, really fell in love with working with the director of the second show I worked on, which was Cinderella. And that was the artistic director there, Jeremy Webb. And I really, really enjoyed working with him in that context. And I felt really safe in his room as a trans person in a regional theater, which I was like, what is happening? This isn't... like, I was like, what is this strange feeling I have? And I was like, oh, it's safety. Whoa. And so then when they announced their next season, which had another pantomime musical as their holiday show, which was Peter Pan, I wrote him literally the next day. I was really fired up because I just the day before gotten a rejection letter for a grant. And my response, I don't respond to rejection by getting down on myself. I respond to rejection by being like, you're wrong, and I'll prove it over here. And so I wrote Jeremy, and I was like, very like, cast me in Peter Pan. And he calls me up, and he's like, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't expect that to work. And so it did. And that was my first time being on stage in a musical as a trans feminine person, playing a trans feminine character. He did an adaptation of the story Peter Pan, where the lost boys instead were the lost kids, and there were kids of all different genders. I was still the only trans person in this show.
Yeah.
But like, I got to like play this little girl in the show, and I didn't get to grow up as feminine as I actually am. So that was like a trip and a half in a lot of different ways. And then I did a whole lot of media interviews about it to promote the show. And also like, I wanted families in Nova Scotia who had trans kids to know that, hey, for once, your daughter can see herself here too. Which was really great, but it also resulted in me, I got a hate mail campaign during that show.
That's so...
I know, it was a lot of fun.
Ugh.
I got to the point where like I needed someone to like escort me to and from the theater between shows for a few weeks. It was a scary time in my life. But I did it. I got through, and I got to meet a lot of kids and people who felt very affected by that. And like I still sometimes get like messages to like my Instagram or something from young people who like saw that show or I heard about that show and just reach out to me, just like being like, "Hey, I love you, thank you," and I'm like, "What?"
Representation, it matters. It matters.
Like,
it totally matters. Yeah.
Because like think about like what I said before. Like I was closeted for 6 years as a trans person after I figured it out because I didn't think I could do the only thing that I love doing because I was trans. So like to be able to show in any way that there's even the slightest bit of hope to these kids, that to me, I don't think I can ever say that anything was worth receiving hate mail. Like I don't, because I'm so appalled that happens to anyone, regardless of whether or not it's me.
Yeah.
Nothing is worth getting that kind of community level abuse.
Yeah.
But like that can be awful, and this other thing can be good at the same time. It's
duality
kind of
so
like this is bad and inexcusable and not worth anything.
Yeah.
This was awesome, and I love that this happened.
Yeah. That's awesome. I feel like you get to do something that brings you so much joy, but with so much like heaviness behind it, because you have to like, because you haven't seen anybody like you in all of these roles, like even on television and everything like that. So this is my question 3, but now it's thing 2 because it just because we're improvising. Thing 2. So like, how do you like keep joy in your art when you're also like pushing advocacy? Like how, because like advocacy is so important and representation is so important, but like it's heavy. How do you keep joy in what you're doing?
Oh my God, Andrea.
I'm getting to be like Oprah. I just need to know the deep stuff.
I mean, like, I'm like, this is a lot. This is not the only reason I'm in therapy, but it is one of them.
Yeah, I bet.
Like, especially because my like what I care most about is my own creation. Like the things I create, like the stuff like the Pansy Craze, and then even on Peter Pan, like I originated that role and I put a lot of input in how that went. And other roles that I played as an actor since, I've had a lot of input in how those go. So like I find a lot of joy in knowing that something's coming from me authentically. But then it's also to do with balancing. Even that is like a huge output of yourself in like a level of like emotional labor. And so for me, kind of the pandemic's kind of taught me to slow down and like remember my identity outside of my work, which is very hard to do when you are working in this industry and also adding in the level of advocacy that some of it I want to do and then more of it I have to do. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to get lost in like, I'm not Avery Jean, I am this trans person who's here to say this thing. And so I have tried to get a lot more invested in like hobbies, but also like I didn't have any hobbies before the pandemic. So,
you didn't have any hobbies during the pandemic?
Because like all of my hobbies were all things like I was working on. Like it was like my hobby was music, but I was also writing and singing professionally. And then like I feel like this kind of forced me to re-hobbyize some of those things. Okay. So like I've been playing piano all for myself lately. Every week I do like a Zoom play reading club with a bunch of my friends across the continent now, where we just read plays for fun every week, and just kind of like put the play back in play.
Yeah.
And I had a really wonderful conversation. I'm currently in the Generator's artist producer training program to develop my craft as a producer as well, because I don't do enough things.
You need more.
And we were really, really privileged to have 2 guests come into our group workshop we do every month. And we had Tanisha Tate from Cahoots Theater and Mike Payette, who's the incoming AD for Tarragon. And I got to talk to them about like artistic leadership and how do you exist as a human being while in that position, because we get dehumanized so much in these roles as leaders, where like our communities view us, yes, for the thing that we are here to provide and for how we want to serve our communities and for the things we want to give to our communities and how we want to lead them. and those are important. But what happens a lot is it's forgotten that we're also people outside those positions.
Yeah.
Who have emotional needs, and so like I have a lot of people talking to me all the time, but it's only ever about work. And so then I'm kind of left alone in this space of like, all right, and my personal life is me sitting at home playing Animal Crossing, which is great because I live on an island of 10 animals who all love me.
You created a little happy land.
Like, that's fine. But like you need those things in your life that remind you of your personhood too, as your individuality. And so I've been trying to find more of that in my life in the last while, and trying to also find ways I can integrate that even into my art, because I spend a lot of time doing that. And The Pansy Craze was written from a place of a lot of hurt and anger around both the Pulse shootings and then also the treatment of trans people in theater and sensationalization that happens to us and the tokenization that happens to us. And I'm writing a new show now, which is going to have a staged virtual reading as part of Eastern Front Theater's Stages Festival on June the 7th at 2 p.m. Atlantic time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. It's a new play that I'm writing called No Country for They Thems.
I'm very excited. I'm going to take a late lunch to watch it.
It'll also be available on demand up until the end of the festival on June 11th.
Okay.
So you can buy a festival pass to get every show in the festival, and it's on a sliding scale of like $15, $25, or $40, whatever you want to pay, and you get every single show, including mine. Nice. And that show I set out with the intention to, because like other things I've written from a place of love, not from love. I've written for a place of protest or a place of anger or a place of frustration or hurt. And this one, I set out with the goal. My only goal was I want to write this about love. I'm going to write this about euphoria. I'm going to write this about joy. What is the joy in transness? And how can I show that? And use that as another medium of advocacy, but one that allows me to, like, I spent a lot of time writing The Pansy Craze sitting in, like, painful experiences in my life, like writing about my own assaults and stuff like that.
I love that you use because you're a Cancer and you have all these feelings. And then I love that you use your feelings so, like, eloquently and, it's such an important way, because like, does it help you like work? This is still this question, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody, calm down.
Number 2.
This is no. I think we're on number.
No, this is still 2.
So no, but I'm just like, does it help you like process those feelings?
Yes.
So that's great. I use comedy, and I think a lot of comedians use comedy to avoid their feelings, whereas I'm like, it must be nice to use your art to process your feelings and then have like, that legacy.
As a Cancer, my moon is also in Pisces. So like feelings for me is like being lost in like a sea of feelings, and you can't really understand what any of them are or which ones are actually yours. And so I, through writing, have been able to like structurize my feelings and like that's not a word, provide structure to my feelings and like really like focus and reflect on like, okay, what am I actually going through? What do I need to process? And so I've been able to do that. Like, I do journaling, but, like, also in my plays. And so for No Country for They Thems, I really focus on, like, writing a show that is just me spending time with my favorite queer relationships in my life. Like, I have a lot of really wonderful queer friends, and there's a lot of, like, extremely deep and intimate platonic love that we have between each other that I don't also see shown a lot in theater.
I love that.
And so I was like, I want to just write about that. And, like, yes, there's problems that come up.
Love.
And there's pain that comes up because you inherently, like, we live in a society right now where to be trans means to also be in pain. Mm-hmm. But there's so much joy that comes from it that people also don't get to see or understand unless you're like really deeply rooted and connected to the community. And so I wanted to focus on that, and that's actually been a really healing thing to write. Like, I don't end a writing session feeling like exhausted and like I need to take a nap and 10 edibles to get over it. Like this time I'm just like, oh, I feel like I just got to like write this show, which feels like spending time with my favorite people, and that's been a lot of fun.
Aw, that makes me happy. I'm so excited to see it. It sounds amazing. So excited. Thing 3, because I'm gonna get pulled off the stage.
I'm your producer. It's fine.
Oh, okay, sweet. I can do what I want.
Yeah.
Thing 3 is who inspires you? Who inspires, like, what are your influences in your art that inspire you?
Me.
Ooh, okay, that best answer. Next thing 4.
I'm done. No, I'm big enough. But for real, I am big enough to say that I often inspire myself. Like,
well, that's because
you
like
don't. What I
don't.
was just saying, my feelings.
Yeah.
And like I draw from it, like I process my feelings through my work.
And if you don't see people like you represented and you're creating those roles for yourself, yeah, I would think you're inspiring yourself, right?
Exactly.
You're
like you kind of have to as any person from an equity seeking group. Sometimes you have to be. Although you also do get to like piecemeal together like the ultimate role model from a wide variety of people. So like I've been really inspired by Stephen Sondheim as a musical theater writer and as a playwright, even though he doesn't write plays, but like his philosophy behind everything about like how content dictates your form, how God is in the details. Like the more specific you get, the better it is. I really apply a lot of those rules both to my writing, but also like to my acting, to my administrative work, to my producing work. I'm really inspired by Lady Gaga.
Me too. Oh my God.
I don't need to explain that.
No, of course. She is God. She is so good.
Exactly. I'm really inspired by a lot of the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. I have to say, like, to be totally honest, like, that show, when I first discovered it, before I came out as trans too, was like another thing that showed me a lot of like being a person who's assigned male at birth, who is effeminate, can also look like these certain things. Like a lot of that, like Jinx Monsoon was really inspiring to me in that, or Shea Coulee, or Bob the Drag Queen. Bob the Drag Queen especially, actually, is the one I'd say I look up to the most. I'm also really inspired by a mishmash of different artistic leaders I've gotten to know over the years, like Jeremy over at Neptune. There are certain ways that I really look up to him. Tanisha Tate at Cahoots, I really look up to her. Also, like, not to like kiss ass at my workplace, but like I do really look up to Coko Galore as an artistic leader. And like, and you should if you're watching this and you're like, who's Coko? How did you get here?
If you don't know who Coko is, go Google that. Coko Galore.
And so like I've been really enjoying, like, even in my role at Bad Dog now as a production coordinator, involves a lot of me, like, just like by proxy, like mentoring under her in some ways, and so like that's been really wonderful.
This is a good segue for Thing 4. It's a question I ask everybody, but I'm like actually most excited to ask you it because you're new to the, like, newish to the improv land. I just want to know your general thoughts on improv. You're taking your level 1 class, I know. You've been with us since 2019. What is your thoughts about improv?
I mean, I've gone on record publicly on my own show on Drink Along Table Read last year when that existed. The intro to that show started, "My name is Avery Brennan and I hate improv."
Ouch.
And I have to admit, I was lying the whole time.
Okay.
I've always really loved watching improv, and I actually used to really enjoy doing it a lot growing up, and even in theater school. I came in second place in a theater sports tournament in my second year of theater school. Comedy, like what I was talking about with musical theater though before, of like I didn't really see anyone like me in that either, and so like I kind of, instead of like, I was already in musical theater school, I wasn't in comedy school, so at least with that one I was like, well, I'm already here, I have to keep going. Yeah. Whereas comedy, I'm more was like, I'll put that away. But like I also grew up watching like Saturday Night Live, Margaret Cho and Kathy Griffin are two of my other major inspirations. Oh, they're who amazing. I've like been obsessed with since I was 12 years old now. And I still live my life by like a lot of what both of them have like taught me and shown me through their work. So like I do actually really love improv, and like I'm taking the Improv 1 class right now as like a reintroduction into it, and I love it, and I really love my classmates. It's taught by Daphne Joseph right now.
Daphne's amazing. What a wonderful intro into back into improv with Daphne, who is just like joy personified.
It's so good. It's so good. And like it's interesting to be at Improv 1 with 15 years of professional performing experience.
I love when
But I love it because I'm like, I already do all these things.
Yeah.
This is just a different framework of it. I love it.
I love watching a theater person do a level 1, and then they're like very confident, but they're like, oh, I can be as big as I want, and I can make up these things, and they just like come alive with improv. And I was like, yay!
I love it. I really love it. I love the games we do. I love getting to know these other people. I really love getting to know people who are like interested in performance, but like not professionally. Like I love people who just do community theater. Like, I really want to see Fiddler on the... Well, I don't want to see Fiddler on the Roof, but, like, I do... like, just as an example, a show that is not Fiddler on the Roof, but like Fiddler on the Roof. I would love to see, like, My Dentist as Tevye. Like, that, I think, like... I love it. It's just someone's dentist. I love it.
Yeah, I love watching adults be ridiculous. It's honestly my favorite
And they're
thing.
just there because they want to be.
Yeah, it's like I worked a lot of retail. This is so off topic, but I worked a lot of retail, and my best retail job was chapters because nobody goes into chapters because they have to. They're usually there because they want to. Exactly. So
you want to look at books? You want to look at throw pillows?
Yeah, exactly. You want some live comedy? Go to baddogtheater.com or go and take a class. You can take a class at baddogtheater.com/classes like Avery Jean's doing. And education. Gosh almighty. That's the second week in a row I've done that. Don't fire me, bad dog. Take a class. Amazing. Thank you. I was so excited about that question, asking you your thoughts on improv.
I love it. I really love it.
Yay.
And I get to judge theater sports now too. Like
and you were season. Honestly, I keep like coming so close to the camera, like you're actually there. I'm like, oh my god, I'm running up to this camera.
Touch my face.
I miss people so much. I'm just rubbing the camera.
Yeah.
You're very good. I think you're like one of the most even though you said you're being nice, I think that you're one of the most impartial judges we have there. Because improvisers, if I just give everybody 5s. I'm in the audience, I'm in the chat, I'm giving 5s.
Well, I think part of it too is like I don't actually know most of the people on it on a personal level.
Oh.
So I'm like, I also don't know a lot of like the specifics of improv trainings, but I do know what I like and what I don't like as a performance.
Nice. Next time I play and you're the judge, I want brutal honesty, by the way. No pressure. Okay, the 5 things, the rapid fire 5 things like that we do off the top of the head. This is the 5 things rapid question.
Is this the 5th thing? 5 questions?
Yes, we're at the 5th one.
You do ask 9 things. Okay.
Don't tell Coko.
I just told everyone on the internet.
Oh no.
Let's go.
Men in Black. I just did the Men in Black. You all forget what happened. This was 5 questions. The 5th question. 5. Okay, this is because we talk fashion. Every time we're together, we usually talk about fashion. So I need 5 fashion staples in a good wardrobe. What are 5 fashion staples?
A shawl.
1.
Statement glasses.
2.
Which we both are very good at.
Mm-hmm. We're very stylish.
Boots. I love boots.
3. Yes, you need some boots.
Fitted under clothing. Like something like fitted for a shirt that you can wear like a shawl or like a baggy sweater over. So like add some shape to the body.
Okay. 4.
And then 5. A tiara.
Oh, of course, you need a tiara. Yeah. I have too many tiaras for an adult woman of my age.
No, you have just enough. Are you kidding me?
Thank you so much. I should have worn mine today. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. It does not go with this headband. I'm taking it back off.
Thank you. Those are 5. That's essential. Avery Jean's a style icon, and you just got style advice for free on Bad Dog, on the Sonar Network.
Oh yeah, I also have hosted 3 different virtual red carpets during the pandemic.
I know, and every time you look...
Every time I wear almost the same outfit.
Really?
It's not the same like clothes, but like I know my silhouettes. I know what I like. I know what silhouette I like. It's usually like a high-waisted pant with like a flared leg that's like a little bit capri length, and then a fitted shirt with no sleeves. And then I wear like a shawl or a vest over that, and then a shit ton of like jewelry around my neck.
Okay.
And then I wear a lot of makeup, which I am not wearing tonight because Francis looks like anything.
Do whatever you want. You could do whatever you want. Exactly. Avery Jean, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I really wanted to get to know you better, and I feel like I do know you better. Thank you so much for being the production manager of this wonderful show. But also, I've learned so much via your Facebook post, via the work you do, via having a chat with you. And I know that's not always that's heavy on you. So I really appreciate the work you do. And I appreciate you so much. And I hope we can be best friends now.
Yes.
So, best friends, please.
I will say it right here for the internet to hear. I really love producing your show. I really love getting to work with you in this sense. I think you're doing an excellent job as a host.
Thank you
And you're
so
just like a
much.
delightful, wonderful person. Also, so the world knows, like, I am the producer, but I did not ask to be on this show. Andrea asked me.
No. Yeah.
Andrea pitched to Coko that I be on it, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
sure. And I was like, I guess I'm doing this. Like, this
Because
wasn't.
I want to know you better, and I'm so happy I got you on the show. So thank you so much. Avery Jean, where can people? Okay, you mentioned your show, but I want you to plug it again, and I want you to plug your social medias. I want everybody to find you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, thank
It's
you,
on the screen.
Connor.
Thank you, Connor.
But for people listening, you can find me at the Avery Jean, all one word, TheAveryJean. That's my handles on both Twitter and Instagram. My show, No Country for They Thems, is playing as part of Eastern Front Theater's Stages Theater Festival, which is entirely virtual this year. So you can watch it anywhere from the world. We are premiering June 7th at 2 p.m. Atlantic time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. That will be with a live stream. It will be myself. I'll be one of the actors in the show alongside two of my best friends in the world, Sansa Marston and Stevie Hunter, all of whom are all three of us are in Halifax. Sansa and I are also in a little COVID bubble together, so we will be reading the script together from Sansa's bathroom. Because the show is set in a bathroom. That's all I can say about that. And it's only 30 minutes long right now. I'm trying to work on developing it to get to 45 to 60, but at this point, it's a nice tight 30. And you can get tickets to that at easternfronttheater.com. And the prices, you can get them for $15, $25, or $40 for the entire festival to take in a whole bunch of other work, too. And that's all in Canadian dollars, plus tax. The festival goes until June 11th, so if you miss the live stream, you can also watch it up until midnight on June 11th.
Nice. I will be watching. Thank you so much, Avery Jean, for being on the show today. Thank you to Connor, who's in the booth. And thank you for everybody who's watching on Bad Dog TV. Smash that like button. Thank you. Ooh, I love that sound. And listen to us on the Sonar Network and smash a like button there if there's something to smash.
Or like to copy and paste the link into your Facebook status and tell all of your friends to listen to it.
Tell the world. We're just chatting over here on Bad Dog TV. Thank you so much for listening to 5 Things and watching 5 Things this week with Avery Jean Brennan. I'm Andrea Marston. Have a great week, everybody.
Love you. Bye.